Hey, what's up, everybody? AlienX Gaming here again with another interview. Tonight I've got somebody from the community, and he just started creating some content. Tonight I've got Sir Little Wolf. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. And hello, bipeds.
That's like your signature thing when you come in. That's awesome. Um, okay, so I've got I've got some questions for you to try to kind of pick your brain a little bit, so people can get to know you because you interact with a lot of people on chat. And that's kind of why I'm doing this. It's basically so that people can get to know who they're talking to a little bit. Nothing deep and personal, but it kind of makes you still feel like you know them a little bit better. And like get to enjoy coming on the different chats that are here and there and be like, oh, cool, he's here. Hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. But so that's the point of this. Just so people can
Yeah.
talk about themselves. I mean, I hate talking about myself, but it is what it is. So, if you're ready for the questions, let's go ahead and start this up, man. Are you ready?
Alrighty. Yeah.
Okay. Why did you choose the name that you currently have on YouTube?
Actually, it was a name given to me by a friend of mine when I was staying at a shelter. Um, he just saw how I was acting with other people in there, and I always wore kind of a husky hat. And so he saw that I was kind of gaining my own little pack, and he just started calling me Little Wolf.
Okay. All right. See, I like to hear like the backstories on some people's names. It's very interesting how they come up with that. I'm not going into how I came up with mine right now. Anyway, and how old are you?
I'm gonna be 39 in March.
Excellent. We are almost the same age. Let's see here. And where are you from?
I'm from Anchorage, Alaska right now.
Is that where you're originally from?
Yeah, I was actually born here and then grew up in Florida and Wisconsin and then came back up to Alaska.
All right. Do you have any siblings that live near you or around the country or anything?
Right now I have an adopted brother in the city, and then out in the village, I have to count them again. Let's see here. I have Gurley, my little sister, Mike, my older brother, Jackie, my younger brother, Jeffrey, Daniel. There's about like five of us.
All right.
At least from my actual mom, there's five of us.
Okay. And how about you? Are you married? Do you have kids? What's your situation?
I'm single right now, kind of looking for another mate, but I do have one daughter who just turned 14 in December, and it was actually her golden birthday because her birthday's on the 14th.
Cool. Cool. Do you have any pets?
No, not right now. We used to have a bunch of cats and things like that, and one of them was a kind of a mix between a Manx and a coon cat. So she had like the bob ears um of the other cat, and then no tail. So
Wow,
she was she was my little furball.
that is awesome. Very very cool. So what kind of car do you drive?
Actually, I don't. I'm not really one for driving. I have too much on my mind most of the time, and I'd rather just either walk or take the bus or
Okay,
ride my bike.
fair enough. What kind of music do you like to listen to?
Well, yeah, you get this one a lot, but I do listen to basically everything, and it does depend on my mood, but for the most part, I listen to country music.
Okay. Did you ever play any instruments growing up, or do you play any instruments now?
Actually, the cool thing that I did play, and really the only instrument, was the didgeridoo. There was a guy who came through a shop that I was working at that was called the Sleeping Lady Tea Shop, and he was giving lessons on how to play, and he was making his own didgeridoos out of PVC pipe, and I wound up buying one of them and playing it for about 3 years. And there was a shop that was like Mermaid Express or something like that. It was one of those like weird new agey type shops, and they had a bunch of them in there too. And I wound up buying one of those for like $15.
Okay. So I had to look it up because I had no clue what a didgeridoo was. It looks fairly similar to a flute, only huge.
Kinda. I mean, you actually sit there and press your mouth into the hole and play with it that way.
Okay.
What's actually kind of funny is I kind of learned how to make that noise with just my mouth because I was watching a movie that was called Tommy Tricker and the Stamp Traveler, and the guy would sit there and he took a piece of a fence, the metal pole in a fence, and started playing it like it was a didgeridoo. So I just started mimicking the noise, and it was just kind of came about that that's how I knew how to play it. And the guy was surprised when I started easily playing the didgeridoo, and I've never really tried it before.
Cool. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Ricola commercial. Ricola. Although I don't know, that's some sort of actual like
Yeah.
Flute thing, whatever. All right, moving on. So what was your first job?
Actually, I was delivering newspapers in Wisconsin from the time I was 11 years old till the time I was about 13, I think. And
Okay.
so I always had a weird sleeping schedule. I would go to bed at like 10 p.m., wake up at like 2 a.m., get the papers ready. And I had two paper routes set next to each other, so I would be gone for like an hour. And so the whole time was just like getting all the papers ready to go and stuff like that. And it put money in my pocket, so I was happy.
That works. You ever spark a memory and like you get like an odd scent that reminds you of something from back in the day? That just happened because I for some reason smelled newspapers when I was a kid too, and like I did the same thing, like ride my bike, toss the paper, it's just bizarre. Anyway, cool. Let's see. Do you are you currently working? What do you do for a living?
Right now I'm kind of a housekeeper for an older lady. Um, I go over to her place maybe 3 or 4 times a week and do like 3, 4 hours worth of work sometimes for around $10 or so. And it's not much, but hey, it keeps money in my pocket and keeps me on tobacco, so that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. Okay. So what kind of hobbies do you have?
Um, well, mostly it's either watching movies or playing video games or listening to podcasts. And kind of my channel has now kind of become my hobby because I get to sit there and talk about different things that I do, and apparently people like listening to it, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah, man. So how did you find this community?
Um, that's kind of a longish story, but I'll try and shorten it.
You
I
don't
had
even have
a
to shorten it. We
friend of
got plenty of
mine.
time.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine who I've known, good lord, since I was in like the second grade, I think. And we kind of lost touch when I moved away from Florida, but we would keep in contact through mail and things like that. And then I found him on Facebook.
Okay.
And for a long time, he didn't post anything really, but then he started posting different memes about the Earth being flat. And I thought he was just kind of joking and just putting random crap up. And then I started talking to him one day, and he was like, "No, dude, this stuff is real. I mean, you have to look into it." And I was like, "You know that stuff is bull, right?" And he's like, "No, dude, you have to watch this video." And he sent me the Eric Dubé's 200 proofs that we do not live on a spinning ball. And literally, my adopted mom was sitting next to me while I was watching it. And I was kind of stoned at the time watching it, so like at first some of the things were like, "Oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, that kind of makes sense." And then like my brain actually kicked in,
Oh God.
and it was like, no, it's like no, 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 these are stupid. this guy is an idiot. And then next thing I know, my IQ points suddenly dropped like 10 points. and and so I started looking up different questions that they were asking, like why do when you're on a boat, why do they use a flat map? And so I looked up on YouTube naval navigation and found a quick half-hour video and watched that and tried sending it to my friend. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, I haven't had time to watch it yet, so I'm sorry. It's like, well, dude, you sent me a 3-hour damn video.
Yeah, right.
I spent 3 hours watching that, and you can't watch a half-hour video? And then I just started looking up different people online for flat Earth stuff, and I wound up finding Red's Rhetoric.
Okay.
And his Google Hangouts and him talking to different flat earthers, and then I found his debates on Non Sequitur, and then I from there found FTFE and Team, and then I found our community, and then I started watching stuff with Sit Down with Debunkers and EIE Network and stuff like that, and Professor Stick, Professor Dave, and all of them. And it's just jumped into the chat one day and just started talking to people, and suddenly I'm very popular. It's like, oh my god, I never thought it would happen like that.
Yeah, like, that I like that as well. As you come into the stream and say, hey, what's up, and then you have X amount of replies, and it just makes you kind of feel kind of good inside. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool.
Yeah. I've had a few of them say that they actually feel more comfortable when they know I'm in chat. And it's like, okay, that's cool. And I just love going into chat and just interacting.
Sure. I see a lot of people throw you bacon when you come in and all that other stuff. No.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I get paid with begging strips.
Excellent. No. Okay, so you mentioned earlier that you play video games every now and then. What kind of games are you into? What do you like to play?
Actually, I like playing lots of different role-playing games or dungeon crawling games. For some reason, they just kind of hold on to my attention a bit more. Okay. Like right now, I'm playing a game called Delver, and it's like a first-person view, and it's all pixelated and everything, but you go in different levels of a cavern and just find different weapons and armor and things like that, and just, I don't know why, it just seems to hold my attention a little bit more than most games.
Okay. That's cool. Did you play any sports when you were growing up, or do you play any sports now?
Not right now, but when I was in middle school and stuff like that, and growing up in Florida, my grandparents were big into tennis, and so I wound up playing tennis from the time I was about 4 until I was about 15. And then I also did swimming, because, I mean, you live in Florida, it's 100 degrees outside, you gotta know how to swim and stay cool. And so I did that too, probably up until high school.
Okay. Do you travel a lot, like for vacations or anything?
Actually, I haven't really been out of Alaska since about 2015. But when I was with my dad, we did drive between Florida and Wisconsin about 3 different times. Three different times.
Yeah.
And so, just stuff like that, it was just, I loved being on the road with my dad, and that's something I would like to talk to a flat earther at some point about, because it's about 1,549 miles from where we were in Florida to the tip of Wisconsin where we were at. And so when you look at the odometer on the car that measures all the miles you traveled, you trust the odometer on your car because it tells you, hey, you need to change your oil now, you need to do this now. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you can trust the measurement there, why not on other things? So it's not like I haven't measured the distance between Florida and Wisconsin. Sorry.
All right. Fair enough, man. What is your favorite food?
Actually, it's fried chicken. Growing up down in the South and stuff like that, and then also being up in Wisconsin, it's just always been my favorite food, and if you smother it in barbecue, I'm even more happy.
Have you noticed a difference in fried chicken from Florida to Wisconsin to Alaska?
It depends on what stores you go to, I think, because up here we have Cars, which is actually now Safeway,
Okay.
because Safeway bought them out. And we also have a place called Fred Meyer's, which for a grocery store, deli type place, they have, I think, the best tasting fried chicken. But all other places, I think they're pretty much uniform because, I mean, we do have KFC up here,
Yeah.
we do have Popeyes up here. But usually I go to Safeway or something because it's down the street.
Okay, that works. Yeah, I try to try pizza from different places because everybody's got their own style. So you got the New York style. You've got like the Southern style,
Hmm.
which is I don't know why they call it pizza, but anyway, and then of course you got Chicago style, where I'm from, and of course I'm a little biased, but I like that the best, But so like and then you get the different tastes and all that stuff like that from the sauces, and it's that's what I do anyway. So you're a fried chicken guy, cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do love pizza too. I just have to be careful with it because me and dairy products don't really mix well. But I'll put up with it for pizza and ice cream and yogurt and stuff like that. But I actually need to try and find that one lactose pill that you can take to be able to digest lactose better.
Mm.
But if I eat a pizza, I wind up having a really bad stomach ache, and then the runs afterwards type thing. But I'll
Excellent.
put up with that for pizza. It's worth it.
Oh goodness, that was a little too much information there, sir. Now I cannot unhear that. No,
You're welcome.
thank you. No. All right. So, all right. So let's move on to some of the content that you're part of. So you're part of the Four Swordsmen, which is a relatively new group. Is that correct?
Yeah, we just started. We messed around a little bit with the idea in December, a little bit after I started my channel and Tanner started his channel. And we were just messing around in Steve's pub one day and just kind of shooting the breeze. And I think Steve actually, they'll say I was the one that came up with the idea, but no. I can go back and probably find all the information, but Steve, I think, was the one that said we should be live streaming this stuff. And then we wound up going into Irish Demon's channel. Tanner wound up saying something about it, and I just asked the question, are we really gonna do the swordsman thing? And then next thing I know, Foehammer throws up a super chat naming us as the Four Swordsmen, naming me, Tanner, Steve, and of course Foehammer. And it's like, oh my god, so now we are actually a thing. And right after that stream, I went ahead right away and started up our Discord channel.
Okay. All right. And Four Swordsman has its own YouTube channel. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. Actually, Steve set that one up, and he set up our email, which, yeah, he set those up, and I set up the Discord, but yeah.
Okay. Let's see. What kind of content are you guys going to be doing on the Swordsman?
It's usually kind of random. I think what we're gonna be doing is bringing up different topics that are kind of important to us at the time, and it's like once a week, each one of us will try and bring a topic, and sometimes we get to them, sometimes we don't, because we want to try and keep our streams about an hour and a half-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we can get to each person's topic and other times not. But it's like last week I really thought we should bring up the fact that we kind of should stop doing the debates of flat earth because we're just getting to the point now where we're just having parrots. And it's, with all due respect to like FTFE and Red's Rhetoric, um, I love those guys to death, but it's like we're just getting repeats of everything, and they're basically parrots now.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. And you have your own channel called Little Wolf's Den. And
Yes.
what kind of content do you put on that?
Um, well, since I started it in December, it was kind of geared a little towards like, I did a episode where I went through the movie, A Christmas Carol, which the BBC had done, and I wound up grabbing screenshots of that and inserting my picture in there, and just kind of talking about the movie. And then I found some old radio plays and put those up on a thing. And I think what I'm really gonna be doing with my channel is finding old public domain things and bringing them to the forefront, because they have a whole bunch of old sci-fi movies and horror movies and old radio plays that I think are really fun, and those are things that I spent so much time watching, because I mean it's free, you can find it, and hey, people I think should know about it or hear about it, and it's just kind of a random thing, whatever pops into my little brain that day, and usually when something pops in there, it pops out. So
All right, and if it sticks, then it's worth it, right?
yeah.
Excellent. All right, let's see here. I guess who would have been or what was your biggest influence when you were coming up with the content for like the movie or the radio shows and stuff like that, or did that just pop in the head?
It kind of just popped into my head. Like I said, I during the especially during the winter and fall time, for some reason I get this compulsion to start downloading radio plays and dramas and things like that, and just listen to them. And it was just one of those things where it's like, some other people might like listening to these, and it'll usually kill about a half hour for people. And hey, just relax, sit back, grab some coffee or tea, and just have some fun with it.
Okay. Would you say that that's your favorite content to kind of watch on your own?
Usually on my own. I like watching, I know it's kind of bad because they're not really the best area to look for information, but I love watching the History Channel stuff on YouTube.
I do as well.
I love watching things like the Universe and Monster Quest and things like that, and basically it's like documentaries and things like that where you can learn different stuff. Things like Blue Planet or anything like that. They had one called The Future is Wild, and I thought that was an amazing one. But the Americanized version was just weird, and it was only about an hour and a half. And I found the actual BBC one, and that one was around 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
And so there was so much of it that was cut out that when you sit down and watch it, it's just, I know it's kind of scientists looking to the future and thinking, what kind of sandbox crap can we throw in here? But it's just stuff that gets my imagination going. And that's the kind of stuff I like to do with other people, because if you don't use your imagination for at least a half hour a day, I think you're not living life right.
All right. That works. Do you have any specials coming up with either on the Swordsman or your own channel?
I think in next month at some point I'm gonna be interviewed by the EIE network on their Megamere channel, or show that they're doing, and I don't think there's really anything special with the Swordsman except for just our usual stream, which I think for us it's Saturday, and then for Steve it's Sunday since he's a time traveler.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's I think it was 15 hours or 14 hours ahead of me. You're 3 hours behind me. Um,
Yeah.
so it's cool, like talking to people from around the planet. To be honest, because like I know that if it's nighttime here, it's generally going to be daytime-ish for Irish and Tony and those guys. So like they'll be more active on Discord or messaging or whatever than where it's daytime for me and they're passed out. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
um, but yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or tell us about yourself that I didn't ask you yet?
Um, I just like having fun messing around inside the chats, and I mean, like you said on one of your other interviews, that I was probably one of the first person to talk to you inside the chat and really start getting to know you, and I kind of like doing that with almost all the other people in the chats too,
Mm-hmm.
because the way I look at it is if a person is ignored in the chat, then they might not want to come back. And that's kind of what you want for the community to build up. You want them to feel comfortable and feel wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's important to me to at least say something to them. And even if it's some of the flat earthers that come in, I might jab at them now and then, but then other times I'll also say, hey, how you doing? How was your holiday? Whatever. You're dumb as fuck. But, hi.
Yeah, interaction with the community is something that draws people in, keeps them coming. Exactly like you said, because it's nice to interact with people while you're watching the same subject that keeps your attention, and you obviously know that they watch it too. So because the other option, of course, is watch it later when it's not premiering or live or something like that, and then you don't have any real interaction. You're more so just watching something at that point. I like to be part of the action. I like to say, hey, what's going on? Hey, you're a dick, or just all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
But
And like you said with my, you've said it many times before, like, don't you ever sleep? And it's like, yeah, I do sleep maybe 3 to 5 hours, and then especially with the Beardsman show on Sundays, because for me, they come on at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
ooh.
And so I usually try and stay up to watch them because I love their content, and I love waiting to see if PhD Tony is gonna hulk out on somebody and just yell at Demon or whoever he's mad at the moment, and I just love it.
I love
And
Tony.
seeing all the different people that we usually do, and I mean I just think it's amazing how popular I became, and Mama Raisin has been kind of working with me on my self-esteem, because I usually say I can't believe how popular I am, and she'll say, you need to own that because you are loved in our community and people like you around, and so just accept it. And so that's kind of what I did.
Yeah, I would definitely say that you're definitely a big part of the community, and especially in the chat. So I mean, we definitely appreciate when you show up. I do. I look forward to seeing people's names that respond back to me that I can kind of fuck with a little bit in the chat, and they'll fuck right back. It's good stuff, man. But yeah, you are definitely part of our community. So I mean, we definitely appreciate. I do. I don't know how many more times I'm going to say definitely, but anyway. Other than that, that's really about all I got for you, man. So I do definitely appreciate you taking the time to come on here, letting us let me pick your brain a little bit, getting some people to kind of get to know you a little bit better. I mean, it wasn't horribly personal, and it definitely was not in any specific order, but I think so far people have been liking this idea of trying to get to know who they're interacting with, which is, it's really it's fun. It's a lot of fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So.
and yeah, it's definitely fun getting to sit down and watch some of your other interviews and hearing what they have to say, and with people like when you had R and Raw on there, or you get MC June, and it's like others have said, it's kind of cool that they can have so many, like 1,000 followers or whatever, but they'll still come back and talk to some of us who only have like 100 followers, and
Yeah.
I'm surprised I have 112, and I'm tickled pink about that. It's just amazing that 112 people want to follow this idiot ding from Alaska.
I think I hit 155 today. I was like, holy crap! So that was cool. But
Nice.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure that we'll be talking back and forth as our own channels grow too. So I mean, that's gonna be kind of cool to watch, you know. So I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to the future. I hope, you know, I hope we can continue to entertain people and, you know, get to know everybody around and just have everybody just stay kind of close. You know, whatever kind of subjects or whatever that we're watching, whether it be flat Earth or hopefully something different soon. But you know, I hope everybody can
Yeah.
kind of still stick together. Um, Aside from that, I'm gonna have the links down in the description for Little Wolf's personal channel as well as the Four Swordsman. So you guys can click on that, go like and sub their stuff, watch some of their stuff. Their conversations are pretty interesting. I've watched a few of the swordsman streams that you guys had. Um, like when I went to your the swordsman thing and I saw like the intro that you made or whatever, and like I forgot how it
Oh my
goes, but
god.
I was like, oh shit, that's Little Wolf, isn't it? And Stevie's like, yep. That was good stuff,
Actually,
man.
Tanner came up with that opening, and then we were talking in Discord one day, and I just kind of read it out, and all of a sudden I was voted to be the one to do the opening. And it's like, oh crap!
Yeah,
I
right.
should have kept my mouth shut.
That's awesome. All right. Other than that, if you guys like this interview, there's going to be plenty more coming up. Like and subscribe down below here. I would definitely appreciate it. I think this is kind of fun to get to know your YouTuber. So, you know, stay tuned for more. And until then, thank you guys very much for watching the video. Take care and stay safe.
All right, bye bye bipeds.